Don't forget your sword. I read or heard this urban legend years ago. Not 100% sure of the details. But here you go. An Oxford University student sitting an exam called over the proctor, the invigilator, and said to him, "I request and require cakes and ale." After some blank looks, the student pulled out a copy of the university rules and pointed to a several hundred-year-old rule which stated that a student sitting an examination may request and require cakes and ale from the proctor. The rule had not been updated or repealed, so he felt he had the right to rely upon it. After some negotiations, the proctor tootled off and came back with a burger and cool drink, this being deemed by the parties to be an acceptable modern equivalent of cakes and ale. Whereupon the student happily continued to write his exam, warm in the contented glow of having pulled a fast one on the university. Some weeks later, the student was called into a disciplinary hearing, where he was found guilty of not having obeyed the university's rules relating to the sitting of examinations and fined £10 for not having worn a sword to his examination. Trinity College in Dublin has some similar rules. One I heard about, true or otherwise, was if you arrived to an exam in a suit of armor, you pass on the spot. But he fell foul of the same rule with the sword, with a similar penalty. This reminds me of my grandfather who, as a taxi driver, relieved his bladder on the left front wheel of his car. He was given a fine, and when refusing to pay, was taken to court. He pulled out some old no-updated rule about taxi drivers being allowed to do this since the days of horse-drawn carriages. He was discharged, then promptly fined about £1 by the court for not having a bale of hay in the back of the taxi for his horse. Up until a few years ago it was legal to kill a Welshman found within the walls of the city of Chester during the hours of darkness, as I recall it specified with a longbow. The University of Durham had similar, but you had to be in full academic dress, undergraduate gown and mortarboard, to request refreshment, at which point you were entitled to a pint of ale or a glass of port. You weren't allowed to take food into the exam, but I took the drinking thing as a green light to take a bottle scotch into every exam and was never stopped, though I did get some odd looks. I was also completely pissed by the end of my last finals paper. The U.S. state of Maryland was one of the original 13 colonies. After the break with Great Britain, the new state's legislature decided that what had been codified in English common law before the 4th of July, 1776 would continue until and unless such law was specifically repealed. One of these laws was trial by combat. Fast forward to the latter years of the 20th century and the formation of the Society for Creative Anachronism, an organization that researches and recreates the Middle Ages. Enter one Igor Medved, Baron of Storvik, D.C. and part of Maryland, a lawyer in his mundane life. A member of his barony came to him with a trivial case. IIRC, a traffic ticket or something of the sort, and asked how to fight it. How to fight it indeed. What better way than trial by combat? Igor recruited another knight and they trundled off to traffic court prepared to do battle. Alas, Igor's best persuasive arguments did not impress the traffic court judge. He denied the trial by combat and went on with his normal routine. Thumbs down. The law was repealed shortly thereafter. I like it. I like it. I like it. But the way English law is about knives, he would have been arrested and punished for having a blade on him. Anyone remember those plastic swords you could buy in those cheap shops at the beach? I'd wear that to an exam if it meant conforming to the rules and getting food and drink. Love this as it's silly and going both ways. This one made my day. Thought an obscure reference to Link, Legend of Zelda, would have been made. I went to Oxford University and can confirm I have heard the same urban legend, with some small changes. I heard that said student was given a Mars bar and a can of Coke from a vending machine. And the student should have been in military uniform, with sword, and arrived on a horse rolling on the floor laughing. This is, after all, a university that makes you wear special outfits to sit exams and will fine you or refuse to let you do your exam at all if you turn up not appropriately attired. So, person shrugging. That's great. I bet there was laughing in that hearing. Please tell me there is an American school like this. If I was that student, I would be sitting there thinking, you got me. Fair enough, £10 well spent. I love this. Have heard similar from other old universities as well. Touche. Touché. Being that swords are on the list of prohibited knives and weapons, it would be a fairly logical defense that he was prevented from following the rule requiring him to have a sword by the law that prevents him from doing so. There likely was no law preventing the proctor from providing cakes and ale. https www.gov.uk/buying-carrying-knives. Cardiff, 1977. One of the students arrived in his approximation of the required academic dress complete with short sword. Oh, how we totally ignored the pedantic show-off.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.